Come on in, sit back and relax. You're listening to episode 253 of the WealthTech Today podcast. I'm your host, Craig Iskowitz, founder of Ezra Group Consulting. This podcast features interviews, news, and analysis on the trends and best practices all around wealth management technology. And my guest for this episode was none other than Rich Cancro, founder and CEO of Advisor Engine. Now, I've known Rich for a long time, I think almost 10 years, shortly after he founded Advisor Engine back in 2013. And like me, Rich has had a long and storied career in the industry. He started back 30 years ago, man, we are old. 30 years ago, DLJ Direct, then went to Bear Stearns, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch finally, before founding Advisor Engine. And we talked about a lot of interesting stuff. We covered a couple different topics. One, their new announcement of fully digital onboarding with Schwab. We talked about some new wealth planning tools, and we did a little bit of roadmap, talked about some new features that Advisor Engine is adding. But before we begin with the full interview, let me talk to you about RIA tech stacks. Now, we have seen our fair share of RIA tech stacks here at Ezra Group, probably hundreds of them. Let me tell you, these stacks have a lot of tech debt. It is there. You need to get rid of it. Your firm can't grow and expand if you've got this kind of tech debt just weighing you down like an anchor. Now, if you want to free your firm for exponential growth, you need to run, not walk to our website, ezragroup.com, and click on the golden Contact Us button on the homepage. The experienced team at Ezra Group can evaluate your current tech ecosystem, deliver targeted recommendations, optimize your existing systems and operations, or run an RFP and help you implement new software to take your firm to the next level. Please take advantage of our initial free consultation by going to ezragroup.com. All right, let's kick this thing off. All right, this is going to be a great episode. I'm happy to introduce our guest is Rich Cancro, founder and CEO of Advisor Engine. Rich, thanks for being here.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, Craig.
Rich, where are you calling in from?
Well, I'm calling in from our garden apartment here in Hudson Yards, New York City. Yeah.
That's a great location. I'm in New Jersey, so I pop into the city every now and then. Haven't been in Hudson Yards recently. What is your apartment like there?
Well, it's funny. It was actually written up New York Times about 10 years ago, that has more outdoor space than actually indoor space. So it's a unique setting where it's pretty small in here, but there's a nice outside with a deck, a grill, a jacuzzi, and my wife's garden. So it has everything that we enjoy to do.
That's not unusual for New Jersey, but it's crazy for New York City, for Manhattan.
It is. It was especially great during COVID, for sure.
Exactly. Well, that's fantastic. Right. So let's jump into the podcast, the meat of the podcast. Give us a 30-second elevator pitch for Advisor Engine.
Happy to do so. Advisor Engine, we have a full wealth platform with an industry-leading CRM, and we continue to invest in all of our portfolio management capabilities, whether that's fee billing, performance reporting, as well as trade rebalancing. And as you know, Craig, we have a very deep integrations with custodians around account opening, money movement, and asset transfers.
And I don't think a lot of people know that you are now a full wealth platform because of your humble beginnings. If I may say, well, I first met you, God knows how many years ago, when it was really just account opening, the robo-advisor for advisors. But since then, you've really built out the technology and built out your platform to an end-to-end, full-featured platform.
I appreciate that. And yeah, you were definitely there for the very beginning. The vision and kind of mission has been the same. We started to your point with really a B2B robo-advisor tools, to your point about account opening and doing a lot of digital things, and client portal, of course. Then we went up market, went into more mass affluent, added the capabilities around performance reporting. We acquired Juncture, which, Craig, if you say Juncture, as you know, it's a $5 fine moving forward. CRM.
I'm going to work to try to get people to say the Juncture.
So we've added, obviously the CRM capabilities into the overall platform and wealth platform. We've invested quite a bit in our portfolio management capabilities, as I mentioned, and now we're really into the high net worth space as well. as we broaden and deepen those capabilities. But the core mission, though, at the end of the day, is that all the things that are difficult traditionally for an advisor to do, we've tried to automate and make as seamless as possible, which has driven us, I would say, maniacally, to be the first in many instances of how deep our integrations are with the core custodians around account opening, money movement, asset management. There's a ton of workflows that are all connected. So think of planning through account opening, trade rebalancing, fee billing, client reporting, and all the analytics around that we've been really focused on getting all those things connected.
Yeah, I wouldn't say maniacal. I would say you're more driven. You're more, you've got this laser focus.
So you think maniacal makes me sound crazy. Okay, that's fair.
And, well, if you look
Not
at the
crazy.
synonyms, I'm pretty sure the synonyms for maniacal are like psychotic and lunatic. So I wouldn't describe you that way. I would describe your team as laser focused on your goals, right?
Thank
So
you.
looking at your platform, one of the new things you guys have released is a wealth planning tool. Why did you do that, and how is it integrated with the rest of the platform, and how does it compare to other wealth planning tools on the market?
Yeah, we're really excited about it because it kept, again, to our mission statement, not maniacal, but focused
Focused.
on integrations around workflows. And so if you think about now adding goals-based planning, and I'll get into it in a few minutes about, there's really two versions of it that an advisor and client can interact on. But it's goals-based planning, has a lot of tax capabilities within it in terms of RMDs and being smart about how you draw cash as you get into retirement and kind of your taxes along the way. But at the end of the day, it's capturing those goals, doing a wealth forecast. But then we take the asset allocation ultimately that comes out of that, and we fully embed it into our overall ecosystem. So that means that leads right into account opening, client onboarding, money movement, and then that asset allocation is put to work as through the trade rebalancing tools. But the other part is it checks every single day based on the parameters of the advisor to let the advisor and their team know if the plan is off target. And now the advisor can either take action or, of course, talk to their client first if they want to do so. It's also smart to know that things like, hey, say it's 2 years from now and the expectations were additional contributions to the plan and it didn't happen, or more withdrawals happened than planned. It will create that alert and say, hey, when the original plan was created, things are different today because the X, Y, and Z did or did not happen. And when we talk about there's two, so to summarize that, from my opinion, of course, objective. I would love to be objective, but it's kind of hard here. That it's the most scalable planning experience in the space, and it's really simple to use between advisor and client. And there's a lot of configurations where an advisor can start it, hand it to the client, and hand it back before it gets implemented, for example. So there's also engagement of how the advisor would like to work with their clients. Now, the two kind of iterations, one is, I would say, the standard, where it's you do a risk profile that selects the asset allocation. It does the wealth map, wealth plan, and the wealth forecast. You can adjust it, the asset allocation or your goals to hit, so you have a high level of probability hitting your overall goals. Alternatively, you can have dynamic program. So in the dynamic version, it's a little bit different. Risk is an input, but it's oriented toward the asset allocation is created to have the highest probability of success, right? And over time, it has a dynamic glide path. So let's say a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now, based on the portfolio at the time, the capital market expectations at the time, the asset allocation may get shifted. Now, of course, the advisor can choose to accept that shift or not. But what it does is it automates a lot of the thinking that an advisor has to do when they're looking at a plan, 3, 4 years from now. It'll do it for the advisor and then give the advisor the power to implement that, talk to their client. And again, all of that's captured every day. We're looking at these portfolios and giving information to the advisor.
So, Rich, I don't expect you to be objective. That's my job.
Oh, okay.
You can go out there, you're selling, right? You're out there pushing your product. I expect you to do that. I'll be the objective, the voice of objectivity here. With your wealth planning tool, was this driven by client demand, or did you see something in the market that said we need to have our own financial planning tool for our clients?
Yeah, well, I think it's a combination of all the above. Talking to consultants, talking to clients, and our own thinking, as well as, my experience goes back many years on the planning tool side. So, for example, I was responsible for planning tools at Merrill Lynch and the private bank and U.S. Trust before I started Advisor Engine. So I've spoken with hundreds, well, really thousands of advisors about planning. And I think one of the keys is a lot of advisors really do want to engage on planning. And certainly planning has become much more common over the past 10 years. But the area that sometimes advisors either don't engage on ever, or it's a roadblock based on the size of the client, is the amount of work sometimes to work, have a plan and then monitor the plan. So this is addressing that quite well, where it's very simple, though there's a lot of great science underneath it, but it's very simple to engage. It's beautiful. And then the monitoring aspect of it also makes it super scalable. So whether it's a mass affluent client or high net worth client, it is really a scalable, personalized solution. And so it's really addressing, I think, what I've seen for years is a core pain point for advisors to engage on planning.
So when you say it's a core pain point, advisors who don't already have a standalone financial planning tool need this kind of capability. So why not just buy eMoney, MoneyGuide Pro, Right Capital?
So I think what I'm saying, well, let me say this. I think all three of those are excellent products and would recommend any one of them. So that's for sure. And I think in certain circumstances, they're going to have some deeper planning capabilities than what we've delivered. More around insurance and things of that nature. What this is doing, though, is either for the advisor who wants to engage on planning, that has not engaged on planning, and it's kind of a great way to get started with a client and an advisor on the journey. It's also great for any advisor who is who has planning as part of their practice today, and whether they're using another tool or whatever they may be using to do the planning. That this is a great way for those accounts or clients that maybe instead of doing the 4-hour exam, you can do this in minutes and have a great experience for the client and advisor and really engage on planning. Which for me personally, I'm a big proponent of planning and goals and orienting your clients toward their future versus day-to-day performance or quarterly performance. For me, I know I personally care about what's my life journey and am I in target for that journey, whatever that journey holds.
Well, I think everyone would agree with you on that. That's a pretty solid statement. The wealth planning tool, is it built into the platform? Is it an extra charge? Does it come with the fee that I'm paying for the advisory platform base fee?
Yeah, great question. So the core program planning tool is free. It's part of our overall platform. Second, though, the dynamic version, which I should be very important for you to say, is that's being powered by Goals Optimization Engine, which is developed by and supported by Franklin Templeton. And it's basically a stateless engine. So then we built all the experience into the platform. So it's completely native to our client portal, our white label client portal, and our wealth platform overall. So the workflows, the look and feel, the UX has been fully developed by Advisor Engine. So it's personal, scientific, and beautiful, as you know, our ethos.
Let me pull that apart a second. So there's two versions of the wealth planning tool.
Correct.
The core version is free. The
Yes.
dynamic version has a price.
Correct.
You willing to share the price?
Yeah, it depends on kind of the scenario, but it could be anywhere between 2 to 5 basis points.
Gotcha. And that is built on the Goals Optimization Engine, or GOE, which was built by Franklin Templeton.
Correct.
And that is a dynamic asset allocation tool that monitors clients over time and slowly adjusts their asset allocations to meet their future needs.
Exactly. Perfectly said. You're a very good listener.
Well, yeah, I've done this before. Okay, good. So now we've got that laid out. All right. So wealth planning tool, good. Thank you. All right. So let's move on. So you mentioned the wealth planning tool is integrated into your new account opening process.
Correct.
So I can open up an account I can build the goals, build the plan, then open up the accounts from there. I find that to be interesting because Pershing just announced that at their recent event with the Wove product and their Conquest financial planning tool. Envestnet launched the same thing. And I spoke to Fidelity a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned that, and they said that's something they're looking into with eMoney. So you're definitely on the cutting edge here. I think every financial planning tool is going to have some sort of link into account opening soon.
Yeah, and for us, it's not only just the account opening, it's also the trade rebalancing. So it's the complete piece where you ultimately the asset allocation comes out of either the version, then that leads into account opening, money movement, asset transfer, and then as the account gets funded, that asset allocation is automatically in the trade rebalancing system for the advisor to implement it. And then ongoing, right? That model stays in the trade rebalancing system until the advisor, if they choose to update it based off of what's happened 2 years from now. So that whole plan of connecting the planning tool to the trade rebalancing and everything in between is what's been connected.
So you've done an excellent job of white labeling other technology inside of your core platform. Like Go is white labeled as your dynamic wealth planning, and your trading rebalancing, I believe, is still white labeled SmartLeaf. Is that correct?
Correct. And I think the difference, though, I know you used the term white label. In terms of Go, it's more than just a white labeling it. It's building the entire experience. But yes, we white label SmartLeaf as part of our trade rebalancing tool. And what we do there, we are actually pushing data into SmartLeaf. So, and that again, it's fully connected. So, for example, if a client wants to withdraw money, a client wants to withdraw money from their account through the advisor, and the cash isn't there, we will hold that request. We'll send the raised cash into the trade rebalancing engine. We will then monitor the custodian. We'll pull the trades out, send it to the custodian, and then we'll monitor that trade. And once we see the cash is raised, we will then, but was now pended as a request, we'll then send that withdrawal request digitally to the custodian to withdraw the money. So that whole loop is connected. And so that's how we think about it. Like some of these integrations, again, I'll use maniacal focused on really going deep so that the advisors getting the clients getting the benefit of a great experience that's fully connected, even if we're partnering with a third party.
Yeah, I wanted to emphasize that from the demos that I saw, I was impressed at the level of seamlessness that the user doesn't even know it's SmartLeaf Rebalancer. They just see it as one system. They put in the rebalance request. Here come the orders. Here comes the cash, or here comes the securities. You don't even know what's happening behind the scenes. It's a pretty smooth process. So leading into the next topic, with that integrated new account opening from your wealth planning tool into the other part of the platform, you also announced a new integration with Schwab. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we've had a long history in partnership with Schwab, going back many years. And what we're proud to say is that, what we had basically at TD, we now announced back in, a few months ago that we have that at Schwab now. So that means and we're the first to do it. First, fully digital account opening, money movement, asset transfer, where it's an advisor's brand. It's in the client portal. And it's also on the advisor side of our platform, and all those workflows are now fully digital. So we're very excited about that to be the first. And now we're continuing to go further on. They're adding additional account types and different things around money movement. We also were the first to integrate into Schwab's iRebal, formerly TD, right? So they took the TD iRebal and connected it into the Schwab plumbing. And then we integrated, again, the first one to do it into iRebal. So that allows, if our advisors, our clients or who are advisors, if they would like to use our platform and trade through Schwab, they have 3 ways to do it. They can do it through iRebal, through our system, where we're pushing the asset allocations back and forth between the systems. So it's again, you can onboard the client and all the asset allocations are going back and forth and changes. 2, we've also have it through our integration with SmartLeaf, so that SmartLeaf does rebalancing, but again, we will pass them through Fix to the Schwab trading system. We've also built out the ability for somebody to take the asset allocation from our system, the trades, that is, the block orders, things like that, and put it into the Schwab trade blotter, and where they can get order edits from the Schwab system directly in Schwab. So really the 3 ways you can get trades to Schwab, we're fully integrated at this point.
So the third way would be a manual export to a file, then upload the file into Schwab.
Right. That's right.
Okay. It's good to have. It's good to have as a backup. I wouldn't want it to be my primary way of doing it, but
yeah, some advisors like it. You're absolutely right. It could be a backup, but the other reason is that some of that editing, they may see some of the mutual fees, maybe they may not see in other systems. So they get some of those real-time edits. So that's why some advisors like that. But certainly the fixes are much more seamless in terms of how that works.
Indeed. So let me just point out something you glossed over, Rich, if I could say that. One of the things that bothers me about all the major custodians is that they don't allow fully digital account opening, meaning even whether it's you or your competitors, Tamarack, Black Diamond, Orion, whoever they are, when they're opening up an account at Schwab, they start it in their platform, but then the advisor is forced to switch to Schwab's website to finish the account opening. Same with Fidelity, same with Pershing. And that's always been a sore spot for me, for my clients, that why can't I push it all the way through? So you're claiming you're the first vendor that you can now do a completely digital, meaning completely inside of Advisor Engine. I never have to switch out to Schwab's website to open an account.
Effectively, what you're describing is where what Schwab's initial version of digital account opening was, which is basically, and I hate using the word of vendors or third-party fintechs, right, would pass contact information. That would then go into the Schwab digital account opening, and then the advisor would go into Schwab digital account opening and complete all the information. And we support that as well, by the way. So we have that, we certainly have that. That's where we started, and we continue to have that. We also have the other version where either through a client portal, white label, or the advisor can complete the information, and then within DocuSign, right, they sign it, then all of that is passed digitally, the signed form and data and things like that. And that's within, what's cool about it, like the client portal, right? The client, you're seeing the advisors, the client is seeing the advisor name and stuff like that. Of course, it's a Schwab document, ultimately a Schwab custodian, of course. So that's where it's fundamentally different.
Yeah, it's still a sore spot. Right. It's just still, so I really I'm hoping that more vendors build this capability, because it's going to save our clients a lot of time and a lot of effort on the operations side, home office side, to get these accounts opened. So kudos to Advisor Engine for being the first to build that out. Is there any other areas of the Schwab integration you wanted to talk about?
Well, so, ones that we've had for a while, but it's important to note is that, we get alerts from Schwab, and in particular through our CRM automatically, if it would connect them, we actually added more alerts this past few months. So it kicks off automated workflows within the CRM. So it's not just getting the alert and kind of looking at it and doing something, it's actually kicking off workflows, which is pretty cool. So I think it's 100 now plus alerts that we've now connected into workflows.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. It could be some form of a NIGO. It could be money received. It could, things of that nature. So those operational alerts where you're getting like, oh, I got to do something, right? I got to contact the client. I got to tell the advisor, whatever it may be, or something's completed, right? So that may not kick up a workflow, but be more of a completed action, and hey, this is done. So it gets pretty powerful in terms of with those various operational workloads. When you actually do need to do something, it just automatically kicks off those workflows that are embedded in our system.
Do you support Pershing or Fidelity alerts?
We don't today. We certainly want to do that in the future, though.
Okay.
And the other part of Schwab that round that out is we also bring in real-time positions as well, so that you when you're sitting within your client profile, you can get a real-time information if you want it.
That can be handy when I'm trading intraday, right? I want to see what the current position is, what the current cash balance is. That's always been a pain to try to get that. Right.
That's right.
Excellent. All right. So the last topic I wanted to cover, we have a couple more minutes left here, is the Advisor Engine CRM, which formerly called Juncture, and your, pardon me?
$5, I told you.
Hey, come and get it. Right. CRM client portal. So you have new integration with your client portal from the CRM. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. I'm going to try to mimic Joel Bruckenstein, but I'm going to do a really bad job. But when we announced the acquisition of Juncture, now I'm going to pay $5. So Rich, you really got to connect the client portal there. And which of course I agreed with, and we've done it. But we've done it in a way that I think is pretty interesting. That we've always had a white label client portal. We've developed quite a bit of functionality into it as well, but now we've connected it into the CRM. So now you're your custodian documents, all in one vault between your client, right? Your custodian documents can be there. Any documents that the advisor has shared with the client can be there. The client can share documents to the advisor. So all within one vault, the client and advisor can be sharing, whether it's, again, performance reports, fee billing advices, trust documents, custodian documents, all that stuff, all within a secure vault and accessible by the advisor and client. And of course, the advisor decides which documents they want to share with the client.
Awesome. That's terrific. So are there any other workflows or other connections that the CRM has to the client portal that I can take advantage of?
Well, we are building out, this is 2025, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We are building out a whole entire secure messaging center with workflows, so that the client will be able to, we're creating templates, right, of kind of core normal questions that a client may ask, but they can also be customized, and they can include documents. And that will then create basically a thread, right, within the CRM, so they can see exactly, who's asking it. The client can see the thread, see the response, all secure messaging, so no email, and you can track it. You can assign it to people. So if there's create a workflow internally, and then map it back into the client portal for the messaging. So that one's going to be really cool too. And we really drive, I think, two things. One is obviously efficiency for the practice, that the client is sending stuff digitally, securely, but also from the client being able to interact with the advisor at 10 o'clock at night if they need to get, send a message, get it done, and the advisor has it and take care of it.
So that's a secure messaging center coming in
Correct.
2025, allowing the clients to send messages to their advisors.
Correct. And documents as part of that as well.
Right. And that'll all be tracked and compliance, all, audited and right.
100%. And it'll be audible, it'll be real time, it'll be part of a overall dashboard ecosystem and accessible by various people in the advisor's practice as well as the client.
Can I get any data from the wealth planning tool in the client portal, like my probability of retiring at a certain date or
Oh yeah, 100%. So, and that's also up to the advisor, but in terms of, you can have the client actually initiate the plan, and then the advisor gets it and approves it. Or the advisor can start it, let the client see it, and then implement it. But the client can see the wealth path, their goals, their goal attainment, likelihood, and things of that nature. 100%.
I can see all that in the client portal.
Yes. Yep. That's right.
That's excellent. And so is this these configurations at the firm level, or does the advisor have any capability to customize it for his own client base?
Yeah, it's at the advisor level. So you can make it at the firm level, or you can make it at the advisor level.
Oh, that's excellent. That's pretty flexible.
Yeah, it's very flexible. And when it gets to the advisor level, we again, if the firm entitles the advisor, they can have their own set of models, their own questionnaire, and their own planning experience.
I like it. I like the way you're going with that. All right, so can we share now, with just a couple minutes left before we got to sign off? Anything else in the roadmap you can share?
Well, the other big thing that we're working on is another level of reporting, internal reporting. So when you think about every data point within an advisor that we have, and we have a ton of data, just exposing in a very easy way to do reporting and do a ton of data analysis with it. So we're excited about that. That's coming the first quarter of 25. That's a very active project. And the key there is, we said, we challenge our technologists, right? Every data point, and it's got to be fast, right? And no getting a cup of coffee waiting for your data to come back. So I think we found the right architecture to get that done. Now we're in the implementation phase. And lastly,
can you give me an example of a new reporting that the advisor engine clients don't have now that they will have in first quarter 25?
It's so flexible. It's really whatever the client wants, right? So we're going to create certainly some canned reports and things like that. Just like going out of the box, you can have this, right? Position reports, which we have that today, but this would be the next level of that in terms of how they can see the data and share these reports. So it's not only that a person will be able to create the report, they can also decide who they want to share it with. I want to share it with every operations person. I just want to share it with Craig. I want to share it with everybody in our firm, right? So a lot of sharing and things of that nature.
Cool.
The other part is integrations. And, when I think about AI, we've come to the place where that we're going to, we'll be partnering with AI providers. Now there's we don't want to partner with everyone, as you know. We want to make sure that we're making smart decisions who our clients want and who we think are survivable, right? So I don't mean from a financial standpoint. I mean in terms of like, hey, is this a thing that's like a flash in the pan, or no, this actually adds value and they're going to continue to develop it. And the other part of it, and I think this is super important, because I feel I'm hoping the industry that takes a major step forward with AI this year and forward. I'm very excited about it. I also have my concerns. Put compliance and let's aside for a second. Is if we go back to the world of I'm going to pick point solutions and then land in a place where I'm not efficient as a firm, nothing's connected. My ops team, my advisors, and my clients have totally separate solutions, and so now we solved a problem and created 10 more. So I'm hoping that advisors and really platform providers like ourselves are thoughtful about that we're partnering and going deeper, so it's not something off the side of the desk that is not truly embedded from a data perspective, workflow perspective, role perspective. We think it's going to be important to be doing things like that. So when we're looking at people, that's how we're thinking. Most of the ones we've seen so far are, they're beginning, right? And it's exciting about where they're going to go with some of their capabilities.
That all sounds terrific. I really appreciate you sharing all that with us, Rich. But now we are out of time. Where can people listening find out more information about Advisor Engine?
AdvisorEngine.com is a great place. There's also, check out the resources section. Action Magazine is there. There's a ton of really great practice management content there as well.
Fantastic. Rich, thanks so much for being here and sharing with us. Appreciate it, man.
Pleasure, Craig. Enjoyed it.
Hey, it's Craig again. Here are my top 3 takeaways from this episode. Clearly, I was very impressed with Advisor Engine's new Schwab integration, with fully digital account opening and money movement on their platform without having to switch to Schwab's platform website. They're one of the first ones I know in terms of vendors that can do that. I know a couple of very large broker-dealers have that capability built in, but Advisor Engine appears to be one of the first vendors that can completely open up accounts at Schwab only on their platform. We talked about their new wealth planning tool and how they are integrated with Franklin Templeton's goals optimization engine, which is called GOE, which capture goals and generates a wealth forecast, basically a glide path over time that slowly adjusts your asset allocations as the client ages and based on changing market conditions. Very cool tool. And we also discussed some new integrations that are coming down the pike for Advisor Engine, from account opening to trading and rebalancing. So all those things are pretty good. And of course, you need to check out Advisor Engine at advisorengine.com and in their CRM and client portal as well. And that's about it. You've reached the end of another episode of the WealthTech Today podcast. Thanks for listening, but please go to our website, EzraGroup.com. Scroll to the bottom of the homepage and sign up for our newsletter. Once a month, you'll receive an email chock full of wealth management goodness, news, information, and updates. You will not be disappointed. Thanks again for listening, and talk to you all again next time.